Okay, so believe it or not, I am going to somehow compare my golf game to this horror movie. Hey guys, welcome to Happywax TV. So yes, that is correct. I am going to try and compare certain aspects of my golf game to certain aspects of this movie, and I promise you it will make sense when we get into it. But let me get through the the meat of this first. So it's directed by Michael Bailiff. He also wrote it, produced it, did the editing on this film, everything. He pretty much did everything when it comes to this movie. It's got a very small cast too. James Morris plays Jake. He's the father. Emily Brushkinski, I think that's how you say his name, is his daughter Danny. And then Haley Nebaker is the woman in white, and Stevie Dust is the ghost of his dead wife. And basically this movie, well, I'll read you the synopsis. Seeking inspiration for a new writing project, a man spends Halloween night in a notoriously haunted house. He soon realizes he is living in his own horror story. Okay, so basically this guy is a horror novelist. He's kind of going through a slump. So what he does, he's going through a slump writing. I'm assuming it's because he's dealing with the death of his wife, and he's also so is his daughter who's paralyzed. He has to look after her and tend to her. So he's going through a slump. So what he does is he rents out this old manor, which is supposedly haunted, and he moves them in there, the two of them. To kind of get inspiration, to do some horror writing and stuff. When I went into this flick, I watched the trailer for it, but I didn't realize that it was kind of in a way like an anthology movie, because what happens in here is like his story, Jake's story, and his daughter's, and what goes on in this house is kind of the wraparound story. Every time you have an anthology movie, most of the time anyways, there's like a wraparound, and that's like the main story. And from that main story spawn the smaller stories inside the anthology. And that's kind of the case here. So, I mean, what happens is every time he sits down at his laptop and tries to write, a new horror story, that's what we see is him writing this, which is kind of cool. And I mean, he's got this book. I mean, it's kind of silly, really. I don't know why you need to write this stuff down, but it's a book he has, and it's got like a whole list of different types of monsters, like slashers or creatures or, evil clowns and stuff like that, like Wendigos and all sorts of stuff. So the anthology part of this film is him sitting down and starting to write these stories. And the initial one, they all start the same. It's about a woman who loses her daughter, sorry. And then it has some sort of a slasher or some sort of a demon chasing this woman, and she's trying to get away. And then at the end of each story, sometimes there's like a funny little clip at the end, or it always ends in him not being satisfied with how the story ends. And then, we go on to this wraparound story with him and his daughter, and then he sits back down again and writes another story, and that's what we see. So anyways, those clips were fairly well done. Again, and I'm just going to say this straight up, this is a micro budget movie. Okay, there's no special effects in it as far as CGI and stuff. What little gore there is in this movie is all practical. And it is super, super low budget. I don't have a money total for the budget on this flick, but I can't see it being very much. But again, he did the best I felt he could with what he had. I did like the idea of this movie, but I got to get into the negatives here about this film. And the problem with it is way too fucking long. This movie is almost an hour and 45 minutes, okay? And I know I've said this about a ton of movies, and this is where we're going to compare like how I like to play golf with this style of horror movie, okay? Pacing is everything. It really is, okay? Like the acting in this movie isn't that bad. You can tell these guys are like up-and-comers and relatively new to the acting thing, and it shows. But I mean, they put a lot of effort in, and I mean, the locations that that he's found to film this story in are fantastic. This old house, there's when the evil clown scenes, are up, you know, with the little story there. It's taking place at an amusement park. You know, he did find some good locations. I'll give him that. You know what I mean? And the story itself, I love anthology films, right? So, you know, it's nothing new here, but, you know, still, I'll buy into the story for the sake of the, you know, whatever. It's not really scary. There's no real scares in this that are going to catch you. But it's way too fucking long. Like, it's way too long. And what it is about my golf game, it's all about pacing, right? Like, I don't want to wait, you know, 5 minutes in between holes, or, you know what I mean? Like, to play a good golf game, or at least for me anyways, if I'm going to shoot in the 70s, it has to be a fairly quick pace of play, right? That's how I enjoy golf, and that's when I shoot my best rounds, is when the pace of play is it's go. There's not really any waiting. You should be able to play 18 holes in, you know, 3.5 hours. That's a good pace. But when you get into the, you know, the slow pace where it's 4, sometimes 4.5 hours, it just drags, and that's usually when I shoot higher rounds, because you get frustrated because you're waiting so long. And that's the same thing with this movie. There is a ton of filler in this movie. Like, honestly, like, if there's anything that I've done to myself that ruins horror movies for me now, is all I think about when I watch a movie is parts of the movie that I could edit out. You know what I mean? And the bad thing is I feel that if you're a director, okay, and this is your movie, the worst thing you can do for your movie is edit it yourself. Because, like, really, everything that you shoot, you probably think needs to be in the film, right? What you need to do as far as the editing aspect is give it to somebody you don't know, who's done it before, who owes you nothing, who just does it for a living. You know what I mean? Because they will take pieces out of the movie that don't need to be in there, where you think they may, just because you simply wrote it and shot it, and you know, might have an emotional attachment to it because it's your story and you feel it needs to be in there when it really doesn't. There is so much nothingness in this movie. There is, and you'll please rent this movie and watch it so you know I'm not over exaggerating, or maybe you think I am over exaggerating. Let me know in the comments if you've seen it. There is a ton of scenes where the dad is just walking around. He's just walking through this house. I know he's like exploring the house and investigating, but it's just boring, overdrawn nothingness. And the whole first and second act, I'm watching this, like this all revolves around the wraparound story, and I'm watching this, you know, unfold on my theater screen, and I'm thinking, like, half of this doesn't even need to be in this movie at best. I know, you know, I've talked to directors before and producers, and they always say, you know, to have companies pick your film up for distribution, a lot of companies want it to be a certain length, and it's usually around the 90-minute mark. I can buy in that. But even at 90 minutes, you're going to shave off 13 minutes of this film, okay? Honestly, to keep the pace going and to keep your audience invested, especially for the first 2 acts, which are very fucking slow, this movie should be no longer than 1 hour and 20 minutes, okay? And I know that may seem like a lot to trim off. Like, honestly, they could have trimmed off easily 20 minutes of this fucking movie. Watch it. Please rent it. It's out now for rent. And you'll see what I mean. There is a ton of dialogue, but just walking around and doing nothing. And scenes where you think are going to end, and they just keep going. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I could show clip after clip after clip, but then I'd probably get dinged with a copyright strike or something stupid. But just rent the movie and you'll see what I mean. You can rent it for like $5. You know what I mean? Give this guy his dues. I mean, he put his heart and soul into it. And again, this is just my opinion. I'm just giving my opinion because that's what I'm supposed to do as a critic, right? But it needs to be edited down. I think the worst thing that he did for this movie was edit it himself. Because he probably watched it and thought, nope, that needs to be in there and that needs to be, when it really doesn't. There's so many extended scenes here that don't need to be in there. So anyways, okay, I'm going to stop that, or I'm going to have to edit myself out for fucking talking too much. So anyways, this is low budget. I would say give it a watch, just so you can see what I'm talking about. The smaller stories inside this story are pretty cool, okay? Again, but you have to go with the mindset that this is a micro-budget movie. And I mean, I want to see more from this guy just to see what he has. But seriously, dude, get someone else to do your editing for you and trim this these movies down, because you have something really good here. I just wish you had a bigger budget to work with, so you could actually, you know, we could actually visually see a bit more. You know what I mean? Because you can tell it's low budget. And then just the editing for pacing. I mean, you know, you got to shoot those 3.5 hour rounds of golf, not 4.5 hours. Like, easily, you could have trimmed off, you know, 20 minutes anyways of this flick, just to keep the pacing going, to keep your audience involved. Because unfortunately, in my opinion anyways, you're going to lose a good chunk of your audience in the first act going into the second act, because it is just way too fucking slow and drawn out. So anyways, to give this one a rating, I'll probably give it a 5 out of 10. I'm not going to fail it. I mean, this guy did everything on this movie. It's just a shame that it's just fucking way too long. Good idea, but it's just because there's so much filler in this movie, it just fucking drags it out and you get bored of it. Like, what else can I say? Anyways, it's called They Live Inside of Us. Please rent it and check it out so you can see what I'm talking about. Let me know if I'm wrong here. I would like to know, but I don't think I am, because 99.9% of the time I'm always right. So anyways, let me know. It's out now. And yeah, guys, until next time, stay scared.